Hello dear students, welcome to the fourth video lecture in the Python programming video lecture series. Today we will study different built-in functions in Python. This is the fourth video in the video lecture series, built-in functions. So built-in functions can be categorized into following types. So what are built-in functions? So built-in functions in Python are that functions which are already present in the Python. So once you download any software where you can write the code in the Python or the Python software, then some functions are already there. They are ready to be used functions which you can use directly. You don't have to make these functions manually. They are already present in the Python. So therefore they are called built-in functions. Let us see these functions one by one. First one is utility functions. So these functions are used to get information about the object that we have created. It will give you information about the type of the data, or it will give you information about the different attributes or methods that are defined for that type of data. For example, here we are making a list x equal to 1 to 3. List is nothing but a data type in which we can store multiple values. Earlier we have seen we can create a variable like x equal to 5. So we can only store a single value inside the x. But if we create a data type which contain multiple datas like list, tuple, dictionary, set, these are the different data types where we can store more than one values inside this, right? Similarly, list is one of the sequence data type. So here we can see x equal to, inside the square bracket I have written 1, 2 and 3. So how many elements? 3 elements are there. The 3 elements are 1, 2 and 3. Now I want to check what is the type of the data, whether it is integer, whether it is string, whether it is list, whether it is tuple. I want to check. So to check that, we can use the function type. Type will tell what type of data is there in that list, in that variable. So type I have written, and inside that I have written the object name, that is x variable. So once I run it, I am getting the output as list. So it is telling this x variable is a list. Now next is the dir, that is directory of x. So dir tells different methods or the attributes that are there for that type of data. So I am writing dirx. So here it is giving the list of different attributes and methods. Here it is giving some methods like append, clear, copy, count, extend and so on. So by using these methods sorry, by using these methods we can do some operation on these data types. Let us see. So I am creating, let's say, a equal to 5. I can check the value or the type of the data, type of a. So here, wait a minute. So it is telling that it is a integer data type. I am writing b equal to 4.55. I am writing type of b. So it will give that it is a float type of data. Similarly, I am writing c equal to Python is easy. Now I am writing type of c. Now it is telling that it is a string type of data. So a equal to 5, because 5 is a whole number, so it is an integer type of data. B is containing the values after the decimal point, so these are called float type of data. Whenever you are having some string, then that is called string type of data. I can have d equal to, inside the square bracket I can store multiple values like 10, 20, 30, 40. So how many values are there? There are total 4 values. I want to check what is the type of the data. So I will write simply type of the d, and it is giving that it is a list type of data. So by using type function we can find out different the type of the data. Similarly, we have like help. I want to know about the documentation that is written for the list. So when I do it, when I run it, I'm getting the documentation. So on this list I am getting this documentation and I can apply these many functions, these many methods or attributes, right? For example, here append method is written. So by append method, what is defined? What is written for append method? Append method appends object at the end of the list. So we know the d value is 10, 20, 30 and 40, right? So what I can write, a dot append, I'm writing I want to add, let's say 100. So when I run it again, I print the value of d. Here we can see the 100 value is appended. Appended means what? It will be added or it will be included at the last of the list, at the end of the list. So here we can see it is added at the end of the list. So that is the function of the append, right? Similarly, there are different methods defined here, right? Like index, right? So I can write d dot index 20. So it is telling that 20 is present at index number 1 because index start from 0. So computer start counting from 0. So 10 is present at 0 number, 20 is present at 1 number. That number is called index number. So 10 is at the 0 index, 20 is at the 1 index. So that is why it is giving 1. So I can write, let's say 40. Okay, 100 is also added. I will check what is the index of 100. So 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3 index and 4 index. So when I run it, it should give you 4. So that is how we can use this function. So this function was help. So if you don't want the description, this documentation, complete documentation, you can simply use dir of the d. So it will give you a list where all the methods and attributes will be shown inside a single list, right? Here we can see again append is there. We have also used which function? Index. So index is also shown here, right? So if you don't want documentation, complete documentation, you can use dir. It will give you the list. If you want documentation, you can use the help function. So what we have seen how to use the type function, how to use the help function and how to use the dir function. These are called the utility functions. Now second is the type conversion function. So type conversion functions are used to convert the type of the data. If you have the string data, I want to convert from string to numeric data or integer data, that I can do by using type conversion function. If you want float data from integer value, then we can use the type conversion function. So type conversion function simply converts data from one type to another type. Here example is shown, num equal to, in the double quote it is written 42. So whenever we write anything inside the double quote or single quote, it is a string value, right? So I am checking the type of the num. So it is telling that it is a string. When it is a string, we cannot do the mathematical operation with the string value. So 42 is currently a string value, so I cannot add anything to the string value 42. So if you want to perform some mathematical operation, I need to convert it into numeric data. For example, I want to convert it into integer. So once I write integer of the num, that 42 will become a number, then it will be added with 8 and you get the 50 value. We'll see the example of that also. Like x equal to 42. I can check the type of the x. It is string, but if I want to do addition of x and 8, it is not doing the addition because the addition operation cannot be performed on the string. String is like your name, your city name or any place name or any message. We cannot perform any mathematical operation on that. But instead of that, if I convert it into integer first, then I can do the mathematical operation. Here we can see I am getting the addition now. Similarly, let's say I want y equal to float of x. So what will happen? The x is a string value that will become float. Now I will print y. It is 42.0. Now here we can see a 0.0 is added to the number. I can also check type of y. It will tell that it is a float value. So these are called the type conversion functions. Now the output function, we are familiar with this output function. It is nothing but a function which simply prints the message on the screen. So here it is printing the message, right? Let's say I have name equal to Sachin. Okay, right? Now I want to print the message like print hello, then I'll write name. What I have done, I want to have the message as well as the variable name together, then I can use it like this. So that is method 1 of using print statement. Method 1 of using print statement, right? Instead of that, second method is print. I can write message hello, and here I want to put the variable. I want to write how are you, that I have written. This is the message I want to print. Then I will write format, and inside the curly bracket I want name variable to be printed, right? Here we can see in place of curly bracket it is printing the Sachin, because I have written the dot format here. So we will place the curly bracket, and inside this curly bracket, if you write after that, if you write dot format, so what will happen, this variable will be placed inside this. That is second method of using print. Third method, which is there in the new version of Python, it uses the method 2 only, but instead of this dot format written separately, I will write f here, and I will print the same message hello. Then instead of writing this curly bracket, simply I will include this name inside the curly bracket. Name, hello name, how are you. Now here we can see I am getting hello Sachin, how are you. So these three methods are used when you want to use the variable inside the string, right? So string is there, along with that if you want to print the variable name also, variable, then in that case you can use any of the three methods, right? Similarly, if I want the same message to be printed here, right, what I can do here, I can write print can write in by using method 1, I can write hello comma name comma how are you, question mark, full stop, complete. Now what happens, string is written inside the double quote, and comma is to separate the string and the variable name. Then I have written the variable name, then again comma, then again string. So how it is to be used, a string is to be written, then whenever you want to place a variable, you have to use the comma, right? Here string is complete, then I am using the variable, therefore comma is required. Then again after this variable, again you want to use the string, so therefore again one more time you have used the comma, right? So if I run it, again I am getting the same message. Here we can see this message, this message, this message is same. So these are the three methods, three ways by using by which you can use the print statement. So this is used when we want to use the string as well as the variable in single print statement. Next is the input function. So input function is the function which is used to take the input from the user. Here if I want to take the name of the user, what I will write? I will write input and I will give a message or the prompt. This prompt is used to tell user what to be done, like enter your name. If this message will come on the screen, then the user will know they have to enter the name, right? So the syntax will be like a variable name will be there, variable name, so that this value will be stored inside this variable. So name equal to input, enter your name. So what will happen at the output screen? You will get this message displayed. Message will be enter your name, and here will be a box, and the user is entering Sachin. Once he press the enter, what will happen? This Sachin will go to the name variable. Now I can check print name, I am getting Sachin. So Sachin is stored inside the name variable. One more example, I want to store the city name. I am writing a equal to input, enter your city. So this message is coming on the screen. A blank box will be coming where user has to enter the value. So the user is entering Mumbai and he press the enter. Once he press the enter, what will happen? This Mumbai value will go to the a variable. Now I am checking print the value of a, it is showing that it is Mumbai. That is how we can take the input from the user by using input function. We'll see the example of that also. I'm writing name equal to input, enter your name, run, then a box is appearing, then I have to enter the name Sachin. I am pressing the enter. Let us check whether the Sachin is stored inside the variable name or not. Type of, not the type, print name. Here we can see I am getting Sachin. And one property of this input function is that input function takes all input as string value by default. By default, whatever value it takes, it will take that as sorry, string value. For example, I want to store a number, like num equal to input, I am writing enter a number. What happens? I run it, the user is entering 10. Now I can print the value of num, it is showing that it is 10, but now I cannot do the addition of this with any numerical values. If I try to do, it will tell that this num is of string data type and we cannot do the addition or the mathematical operation with the string data type. Let us check whether it is correct or not. I will check the type of the num, because type is the function that you have just studied. Type tells you what is the type of the data. So it is telling that it is a string data type. Now what we can do, either we will write int num plus 20, right? I can either write int, convert that into integer and do the addition. Here I am getting 20, but instead of that, what we can do, I will not write int of num here. Instead I will put the int here itself before the input statement. So what it will do, see, this message will come like this message, it will come, 10 will be stored here, 10 will come here. Now when 10 is coming here, this 10 will go inside the integer. What will happen? The string value 10 will go inside the integer function and it will convert that into integer. Now the num variable will have a integer 10 instead of the string 10. So what we have done, we have simply put the integer before the input statement. Let us run this. I am entering 10. Now I am printing the value of this. Now if I check the type, initially it was string, but as I've used the int here, it will be integer value. Now I can do the mathematical calculations with that. Right. So that is one of the important point, that whenever you want to take the string value from the user, you use simply input and your message. But if you want to take the numerical value, then you have to use either int or float, whatever value is expected. Like you are expecting the integer value should be given by the user, then you write int function here, then inside that write the input function, then it will be converted into, you will get the number as the integer number. If you want that to be float value, then you write float here, right? Then it will be stored that as float value. That is one of the very important point that you should remember. Next, now we'll see some of the basic mathematical functions. These functions are already there in the Python, right? ABS is for absolute value. Whatever numerical value you write, it will give the magnitude of that. Magnitude means what? It will give the positive value of that. So absolute of minus 10 is 10. If you write round, what it will do? It will convert, or it will round off the given value into 2 decimal places. Here I am writing 2. So what will happen? It will round off it to 2 decimal places. I am getting only 2 decimal places. Next is POW and x comma y. So what it will do? It will calculate the value of x raised to power y. So here POW 3 comma 2 gives you the value of 3 raised to power 2, and 3 raised to power 2, that is the 3 square, is equal to 9. So I am getting 9 value, 9 at the output. Let us see that. Absolute of minus 10.777. Here I am getting 10.777. I want to round off the value like 10.7777 or 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 3 decimal places. So it is converted into 3 decimal places. I want to find the square of the 5. POW, I will write 5 comma 2. So it will calculate 5 raised to power 2. It is 25. Let us calculate 2 raised to power 5. POW 2 raised to power 5. It should be 32. I am getting 32. So that is how we use these mathematical functions. Last one is the data handling functions. So data handling functions can be used with the data which are of sequence data type, like list, tuple, right? So we can use it with that data types. So list and tuple are called the sequence data type because it can contain multiple values. So len is the function which we can use on sequence data type. Len tells you how many values are inside that data. Like num is the variable where it is containing 4 values, 1, 2, 3 and 10. So there are total 4 values inside this. So when I write len of the numbers, it will give you the length of the list. So it is telling that there are 4 elements. Now the second is sum. Sum tells you what is the total sum of the values present inside this. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 10 gives you 16. So it is giving 16 here. Similarly, if you want to find the maximum value inside this, you write max of the nums. Nums is a variable, this variable name. So it will give you the maximum value inside this. So it is 10. So here I am getting 10 here. Min of nums, it is 1 because the minimum value is 10 here. Let us see that also. I am creating a variable x equal to, let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, right? I am writing print len of x. How many values are there? There are total 6 values. Similarly, I can write sum of x. So addition of 10 plus 20 plus 30 plus 40 plus 50 plus 60 is 60. What is maximum value inside the x? it is 60. Yes, 60 is the maximum value and minimum is 10. So I can write min of x is equal to 10, right? So that is how we can find the maximum value, minimum value, or the length, or the total sum of the values present inside the list. Similarly, that can be done with the tuple also, that we will see in the coming lectures. Okay, these are some of the basic built-in functions that are there in the Python. Okay, that is all for this video lecture. In next video lecture, we will see what are operators in Python. Thank you.